Hello, and welcome to another Arizona Hip Historian Virtual Happy Hour Tour. That's a lot to say, and we're excited about it. I am Brenda Holt with the Arizona State Office of AARP. We are the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. With a nationwide presence and nearly 38 million members across the nation, and approximately 900,000 right here in Arizona, we work to strengthen our communities and we advocate for what matters most to our families: health security, financial stability, personal fulfillment, healthy living, just to name a few. During the month of November, we are going to be covering caregiving. We're here to help you navigate planning for you and your loved ones' future care. Don't leave decisions around your home, your health, and your finances to someone else. You want to be in the driver's seat. So visit us for more resources and information at aarp.org/caregiving or aarp.org/Arizona. We hope you enjoy these weekly sessions, and we want to say to you, Happy Thanksgiving.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary folks, welcome to the show. Get ready to meet your host for the night, Arizona's very own hip historian himself, Marshall Shore.
Hello and good evening. I want to welcome you all to Arizona History Happy Hour. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you can be here on this chilly November 3rd. Oh my gosh. I mean, I think we actually had hail a little bit earlier today. I know there was some rain. So, this might be our winter. Who knows? So, but I am so happy that you've been able to join us this evening. So we are going to have a lot of fun. And I want to welcome all of those folks who are watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn. And I think I left one out, but there you go. So, all right. So here on Arizona History Happy Hour, it's like I want to say thank you for being here. And it is indeed November 3rd. So, there's a lot going on. I mean, back on this date in 1988, for the first time in history in the entire country, the top 5 state elected offices were held by women right here in Arizona. You had the Fab Five. You had Jane Hall as governor, Betsy Bayless as Secretary of State. You had Janet Napolitano as Attorney General. You had Carol Springer as Treasurer and Lisa Graham Keegan as Superintendent of Public Instruction. So since that time, that is the greatest number of women in the state's highest elected positions since that time. Now, it is also National Housewives Day. So it's basically a time where we honor those stay-at-home moms who take care of children. Now, we know not everybody does that, and a lot of folks are out there doing double duty, and some of those are even, I guess, house husbands. I'm trying to think what's the opposite. So house husbands taking care of the kids, because it's a new era. So it's, I guess, kind of a house person's day. It is also Jellyfish Day. So, they're not actually fish. They're invertebrates. They don't have a spine. They've been around for 500 million years. And did you know that a group of jellyfish is called a bloom, a swarm, or a smack? I just love the idea of a bloom of jellyfish, because if you've ever seen them in a number, oh my gosh, I love going to aquariums and seeing that. And it's just so beautiful to see all these right there before your eyes. It is also SOS Day. So back on this date in 1906, the International Conference approved SOS as the radio telegraph distress call. Those 3 short dots, 3 long dashes, and another 3 dots. were designed to grab attention, and pretty much I think everybody knows SOS, Save Our Ship. It is also Happy Sandwich Day. Maybe you had a sandwich earlier, maybe you're going to have one later. Now, whether it is a sandwich or a torta, all that matters is that you have some bread. Now, that was supposedly created by John Montague, who was the 4th Earl of Sandwich. He laid claim to creating the first sandwich as a snack. It has become one of those popular lunch items. There are restaurants that serve nothing but sandwiches. You drive by them any day. Some days you might even stop. And I know when I was looking online for more information, a lot of places are giving away free sandwiches today. So not that you should run out now, but wait till the show's over and then run out and try to grab your free sandwich. Although some of them are doing it the rest of the week. So there's lots of time to get your free sandwich. It is also International Stout Day. Now, the name implies stout, so it's typically kind of strong, has a robust flavor, and it's not one of those things that you want to sit there and just drink a lot of rather quickly. It's more intended for sipping and savoring. These were developed around the 1700s out of porters, came stouts. It is also voting season. So, be sure and get out there and vote. I think early voting ends tomorrow, but then on November 8th, you can vote. So make sure that your voice is heard because it is important. So what can you expect on tonight's happy hour? Well, we've always got a little bit of trivia. We've got From the Vault, which is something you might drive by and not know what it is. We also do a little bit of Arizona music history, as well as a little town in Arizona. And of course, there's a beverage and a special guest. So if this is your first time watching, you might be wondering, who is that man and why is he on my screen? Well, my name is Marshall Shore. I got to Arizona almost 23 years ago to the day. And I started off in Brooklyn. I was working in a beautiful Carnegie building and decided to trade all that slush and snow for some sunshine, which is exactly what I did. I started working in a little library on Central City South, Phoenix, that had this rich oral tradition of the community. And that got me looking at Arizona in a different way. And there's what my kitchen looks like today. Oh, there's my house. I was like, wait a minute, what happened to my house? So we promptly moved into a beautiful 1956 ranch that truly is a time capsule, because there's what my kitchen looks like today. Because I was making tea earlier. So there you go. I have the kettle on as we speak. Well, actually not as we speak, because I already had my tea and my caffeine. But so, yeah. So, as soon as we got here, all we kept hearing about how there was no history. But I knew that wasn't true, because every time I went somewhere, I would come face to face with so many amazing stories, people, places, and that's really kind of what helped just understand what was going on, because Arizona had so much cool stuff. Now, we've also been doing stuff with Local B, which is, so Local Buzz is a app you can download that tells you all about some of the fun stuff going on this weekend. Like, you've got Canal Convergence, you've got Grand Avenue Unification going on. There's so many fun events. Local First Fest is going on. There's so much going on this weekend. So, get out and enjoy some of that weather, because it's going to be a great day. We also have our Haunted History Tour coming up, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So there will be a lot of fun there. So we look forward to seeing some of you on that. We also have coming up after Thanksgiving, we have dinner and a seance down in Bisbee. So that's going to be fun at the beautiful, amazing Greenway House, which is pristine. I mean, right down to the light switches are the original light switches. It's such a beautiful house. And then, I also want to give, I've been trying to do this for a while. I am happy to say we have our first episode of Arizona History Happy Hour up now on Spotify. It might be up other places as a podcast. And I thought it was kind of fun to do it because, we go through so much history here, and I thought it'd be fun to be able to share that with people in different ways on different platforms. So the first episode we have up is the one with Marshall Trimble, the official state historian. And so that's what we're doing there. I will get others uploaded as we go, and also let people know other sources where they might find those as well, but you can find it on Spotify. Also, I see many of you have found the chat session. So please chat away in there, ask questions, have fun. If there's something you want to do after the show, you can always reach out to me through Facebook, Instagram, email, website. It's all good and all hip historian connected. So it is indeed happy hour, and it would not be happy hour without a libation. And so we have, for a libation, because it is National Stout Day, we are doing Boulevard Dark Truth. And now let's see if that bum of a bartender is going to actually earn his keep this week, because, he's been kind of slacking off lately. All right. So now it's like, okay, so how bad am I going to pour this? We shall see. But look at that beautiful, and look at all that foam I'm getting. Boy, that's going to be tasty. All right, we're going to let that sit for a bit and simmer down before I take a taste, because it looks beautiful, but nobody wants that much foam in their beverage. So, all right. So we are going to, go back here. Oh, when you click on the wrong button and things just start to happen. There you go. All right. I love PJ. I had never even heard of this before, and it looks really good. So I'm excited to try it. So now we come to Little Arizona. And, what I thought was kind of fun about this stout is it's actually comes from Missouri on Route 66. So I thought that was kind of fun. So I thought, let's take a look. I mean, we've been talking about Route 66 for the last month. It was like, there was the Route 66 Kingman Festival, as they get ready for 2026, which is the 100th anniversary of Route 66. So you'll be hearing a lot about Route 66 across the state. So we're going to talk about Winona, Arizona, which is in Coconino County. Its population is, we don't know. It actually was absorbed by Flagstaff in the 50s. And so there could be people living there. There might not be people living there, but it was always a small town. Initially, it was called Walnut. And now it is probably one of the most famous, I would say, towns, because it is Don't Forget Winona. And, Winona Judd heard that, well, actually, I don't know what her name was before Winona, but she heard that song and liked the name, and that's where she got Winona from. So the town is not named for her. She took the name of the town for herself on that classic, iconic Route 66 song. Now, it was not the first time that Winona actually shows up in music. Back in the late 30s, there was the Arizona Yodeler by the Zerke sisters. I will be posting this on Facebook because it was kind of funny to find someone singing about a little tiny town called Winona back in the late 30s, even before Route 66 was really that big of a thing. As you're traveling through, you'll find the Walnut Creek Bridge. What's interesting about this bridge is, of its day, when it opened up in 1924, it wasn't really that unusual. But nowadays, because it's one of the few bridges on Route 66 of this type, of this era. So it's been abandoned. It's now closed off to road traffic, but it's great for photo ops. And Winona was famous for a trading post, which is still open. That's actually, I swiped that off the internet, both the vintage as well as the new image of what it looks like. It went through a model, but you can tell they still used that original building and just added more buildings to it. So you can't forget Winona. But one thing I thought was really cool is because we know it's like, it was settled because of folks moving in. But in the late 20s, they were digging around through an indigenous community and they found the Winona meteorite, which had been kind of preserved in this little box in the earth. And so they actually have found several of these in the area. And so they had some sort of importance. They really don't know what they were used for or how revered they were, but they were definitely treated very special for being meteorites. So I think that's kind of interesting, and I would love to know what they were using them for. All right. So now, on Arizona History Happy Hour, we always have a special guest. And you might notice my backdrop is from the late 50s. I think this is the 57 Maryvale, when they had the come visit the houses that you could buy in Maryvale. So let's bring on my friend Ernie. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fabulous. How are you?
I am great.
I love that backdrop. Okay. I love that backdrop.
I do too. And I love that it was a whole circus theme. I mean, I love you've got this Cubist clown over here, this big seal that held the streamers up.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah. Oh, it's very cool. I love it, and it's kind of creepy at the same time.
Are you not a clown fan? See, I like clowns.
No, I like them, but I mean, because they scare me, and I like things that scare me. So.
Oh, as we're going to talk about that later on. So, full circle. I like we're already starting that circle right now.
Well, you have to set it up.
Indeed. Okay, so I am drinking a stout for National Stout Day. What are you consuming?
Look at this. Look at this drink. It looks fancy, right? Look at this.
It looks like Mountain Dew.
It is Mountain Dew. Because I was trying to make it look like a happy hour drink, but I didn't want to drink on camera, so I drank a Mountain Dew. It's Hollywood. It's like the movie magic.
Indeed, people assume it's like chartreuse or something fancy.
Yeah, it is a chartreuse. When in my younger days, I used to hang around Charlie's a lot, and they would make me this drink because I just couldn't drink mixed drinks because they just didn't sit well with me. So they made me this drink, and it was like mostly vodka with a splash of apple pucker, and it totally looked like this. And it took me one, and I was out.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of booze, especially if you're not used to drinking.
Yeah, it would take me one. Yeah. I don't think they ever named it. There was variations of the names, but I don't know. An Ernesto Ortiz, that's what I'm calling it.
So Ernesto, for folks that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see here. I am, again, my name's Ernesto Ortiz. I'm a local performer in the Valley, stand-up comedian, actor, whatever. You pay me to get on stage, I'll do whatever you need to, whatever you want. Yeah. Yeah, but let's see here. Yeah, and I'm also a crafter. While you were talking, I was working on some little booties here.
And what are those booties for?
It's supposed to be a space suit. So when I was 8 years old, my mom, I would go to dance class and I'd get out early, and she's like, you used to have a lot of energy, so you need a hobby. So she taught me how to crochet. Until this day, I will make things, and it relaxes me. So I like making little dolls. I told you had the perfect. I know people have told you this, but you have the perfect look for a doll.
Well, because I'm already kind of a cartoon character. I mean, that's why when we did the puppet, it was like Stacy was like, she sketched it. She's like, oh yeah, you'll make a great Muppet.
Yeah. It's wonderful. I want one, and then I'll give it to you because it'll be creepy.
I was gonna say, it's like, it's not a voodoo doll. No, you're gonna stick pens in it.
Why is Marshall staring at me?
Right, exactly. You're going to give it some vodka and apple pucker is what you're going to do.
Yeah, well, then it'll start talking to me. Let me tell you. Yeah. But I'm I'm not originally from Arizona. I'm also a transplant, but I moved here when I was 10 years old. So I'm 45 now, going to be 46. And so I've been here a while. And I grew up in the West Side, and most of my life, I guess, in Maryville, which I have a soft spot in my heart, and I always claim Maryville, despite all the bad press it gets. It's a rich neighborhood with a lot of culture, a lot of history, and wonderful people, despite what you hear on the news.
Indeed, it is. All right. And so here on Happy Hour, we always do trivia.
Yay.
And so now our trivia is not like typical bar trivia, where it's more than just, hey, here's the answer and on to the next question. So what we're going to do is we have our trivia questions. We're going to go through those.
Okay.
And then we'll take a little bit of an Arizona music break.
Okay.
And then come back and go through and talk about the answers.
Okay.
So some of them will be kind of shocking, I have a feeling.
Ooh, I love it.
I know. It's like, ooh. All right. Now you can keep track of, some folks keep track of their trivia in the chat session. I know Anita has her special notebook that she uses just for trivia. You can do whatever makes you happy. So it's all about having fun. And so here we go. Get ready for some fun. All right. Our first question is, created in the 50s by developer John F. Long, the West Phoenix community of Maryvale got its name from A, the Virgin Mary, in honor of John F. Long's Roman Catholic faith; B, Maryvale University, John F. Long's alma mater; C, Mary Tomalachoff, who was John F. Long's wife; or D, Mary Tyler Moore, John F. Long's favorite actress.
Ooh.
I know. Which Mary do you think it was named after?
I need a drink after that.
Exactly. Anything is a good reason to drink. There we go.
It could be anyone.
Oh, and I see Francine is also a crocheter. She's down in Tucson.
Ooh, hi, Francine. Fellow crocheter.
Oh, she's working a pocket shawl.
Yeah. Oh, that's fabulous. Well, that sounds very advanced. I don't know if I'm that advanced.
I know. I'm kind of like... I tried once and I gave up because I couldn't keep the things you need the same. There's a word I'm looking for, but it's not there. So, all right. So question 2, uniform. That was the word I was looking. It's like my
uniform.
Yes. So it was like, yeah. So they weren't it's like, even though he was trying to do like the same stitch, it wasn't the same. So,
your art is your art. However, however it comes out. Who am I to say it was wrong or right?
All right. The first report of the Maryvale Cancer Cluster was at what school? Was it A, Maryvale High School; B, Trevor Brown High School; or C, St. Vincent de Paul School? So which one of those do you think had the first report of the Maryvale Cancer Cluster? Ooh, indeed.
Again, drink.
You're going to be all hopped up on caffeine by the end of this. I can see that already.
Sleep all night.
All right. So during the late 80s, Brian Patrick Miller became known as what? A, the lead singer of the Sun City Girls;
Ooh.
B, the zombie hunter; C, mayor of Arcadia;
Ooh.
or D, the voice of the Tempe Food Co-op. All right. So what do you think Patrick Ryan Miller became known as? I know. It's like the Sun City Girls. We could be playing some music right now.
I mean, that sounds amazing. Please be that answer.
All right. What is the name of the former Child's Play actor in the final Broadway cast of Dear Evan Hansen? What?
Yeah.
So they're okay. So a Child's Play actor was in the cast of Dear Evan Hansen. How cool is that?
Yep.
All right, so now I have to figure out which one of these folks it is.
Hmm.
So was it A, Vinny Chavez, B, Colton Shore, C, Sam Primack, or D, Adam Mendez? Who do you think was in Child's Play as an actor and also was on Broadway in Dear Evan Hansen? Oh, all right. So founded back in 1977, Child's Play headquarters are located at where? A, the Herberger Theater Center, B, the Tempe Center for the Arts, C, Arizona State University, or D, Mitchell Park at the former Mitchell School. All right. Well, where do you think the headquarters for Child's Play is? All right.
Hmm.
I know. So many good questions. All right. So who was the founder of St. Mary's Food Bank?
Oh gosh, this is a hard
Was it
one.
A, Alice Cooper, B, John Van Hingle, C, George Van Trapp, or D, Alex Albright?
Hmm.
So who of those gentlemen do you think founded St. Mary's Food Bank? All right. Question 7. St. Mary's Food Bank started in a space that had been a what? A butcher shop, a bakery, a candle store, or a boat shop? A butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. Rub-a-dub-dub.
Hmm.
So one of those is the answer. So good luck. All right. What are the average pints of blood in the human body? Is it A, 15 pints of blood, B, 12 pints, C, 10 pints, or D, 8 pints? So what do you think the average number of pints of blood in your body is?
That's a hard one.
All right. The Maryvale Baseball Park is the spring training home of A, the St. Louis Cardinals, B, the Boston Red Sox, C, the Atlanta Braves, or D, the Milwaukee Brewers. So which of those do you think utilize the Maryvale Spring Training Park? Oh my gosh. And then question 9. In the 90s, there was an after-hours club called what? It's now Anvil Bar. Was it A, Preston's, B, JC's Fun One, C, Harley's, D, Incognito? Indeed. Who knows what it could be? But it is one of those options. And none of those bars are now open anywhere.
Oh,
So you can't. Yeah, I just realized. I was like, oh yeah, we actually chose well because they've all closed.
that's history.
Exactly. So it's not like, oh, wait a minute, that one can't be it because it's still open. No, those have all closed down.
Wow.
All right. So now, while you're readying yourself, we're taking a little Arizona music break, and we are going to talk about Las Azaleas. So they are a Tucson women-led mariachi group that highlights the voice and talent of female musicians.
Yeah.
So native Tucsonian Diana Oliveros really utilized her training in voice, theater, and years of mariachi experience. During the pandemic, tried to figure out how to focus that. And it bloomed into an all-female Latina mariachi band. And they are darn good. I know they've got some videos, so I will be posting a link to their website because I think everybody should be hearing them. They are such a good group. All right. So now we're getting ready for some answers. All right. So, created in the 50s by John F. Long, the West Phoenix community of Maryvale got its name from
Mary.
You know it was Mary. That was the only option in the choices. It wasn't like there was a Dennis floating in there somewhere. It was all about Mary.
Yes.
But it was his wife.
Yeah. And I think they met before he went into the army. Oh gosh, I don't remember. Was in Europe, I believe. And then he got deployed. They came back later, and they moved to Maryville, started that community.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah. Now I think she was part of a big farm family.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I think that's probably where some of that land came from to start that original kind of house plotting of Maryvale.
Yeah.
So that we could see clowns and big seals and scare Ernesto.
I mean, that's a good plan, Mr. John F. Long had. You want to start a community, find someone with some land.
Well, the thing is, it's like, and so, I mean, and he built, I mean, it was really about that development. I mean, built a hospital, I mean, the grocery stores, the library, and so it had all the schools, and so it had everything kind of right there.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the spot to move to have affordable housing and raise your family. And
yeah, I mean, all those GIs that were coming back from the war that were kind of like him were now able to suddenly move in and afford a house.
Yeah, I never forget. I was looking. Oh, I put it down, but it was relative. I mean, relative to the prices today, obviously that was a long time ago, but it was like just a few $1,000s you could buy a house. Yeah.
Well, and I was reading that it was like even people would move here because it was like one person had been like a masoner, and so moved here so that they could do it year round.
Yeah,
and so we're able to actually make enough money to afford a house.
Yeah.
So
the cool thing about those houses, I mean, just living in that neighborhood, growing up in those neighborhoods, you like every single house is the same. So you go into your friend's house, you're like, it's just different furniture, but it's exactly the same.
Well, I mean, that's I mean, it's funny because I mean, that's like my house. It's like my next door neighbors. It's like our houses are just basically just flipped.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, and we all still talk about like, well, which room are you doing this in? Which is your master bedroom? And so even though they're the same, there's differences because different furniture, people like, different color walls.
Yeah. And my sister,
kitchen.
My sister inherited my dad's house, which is also in Maryville, and she tore down some weird cabinets they would put that those houses had like right in the middle in the way. And I was like, oh, you better not tear those down. You're going to stir up some ghosts from Maryville past.
Indeed. Yes. And Ryan says those are cookie cutter homes.
Yeah.
Because that way they could just build them, bum.
Yeah.
And so just recreate the same house over and over and over. But that's why they were so affordable, because they were just cranking them out. They didn't have any basements. It was all one floor concrete slab and on to the next house.
On to the next. Yep.
All right. All right. So during the late 80s, Brian Patrick Miller became known as
the Zombie Hunter.
Oh my gosh.
That picture you have there, that's like what I've been watching obsessively right now, because the trials just started for the Zombie Hunter, and I'm a big true crime fan, which I don't know if that's good or not, but I'm obsessed. Yeah, because at night I think about it, and I don't know if that's healthy. But yeah. And I remember seeing that car. That it's like an old police car that he bought, and he painted Zombie Hunter on there, and he would dress in like these steampunk outfits, and people would take pictures with him at all the festivals, and yeah, I totally remember that. I think it was him.
And then he was doing some nefarious things.
Yeah. Oh no, it's crazy. Yeah, but good, they caught him. It took him a long time to catch him too.
It did.
Yeah, and those canals, I mean, they stretch all through the city, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have hundreds of miles. I mean, a lot of those are still actually what the Hugum built.
Oh, wow.
What Jack Swilling found when he got here was like hundreds of miles of canals.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of places to do nefarious things along the canal.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw someone there was an I live in Mesa now, and I saw someone um there was an accident. All of a sudden they ended up in the canal with their car, and I'm still to this day trying to figure out how did they drive into the canal, because there's all those barriers to stop you from getting into the canal. Anyways,
Wow, they
but
must have tried really hard.
yeah, they tried really hard.
And they succeeded. Look at that.
They succeeded. Never give up.
That's right. We can all have dreams to go into a canal.
Yeah, one day.
All right. What is the name of the former Child's Play actor in the final Broadway cast of Dear Evan Hansen?
Yeah, you said his name correctly. I said it wrong. I think I made him Latino, and I was like Primac, but that's not how you said. That's not how you said. Yeah.
When you were talking about that, I didn't. Then I saw his face, and I'm like, I think I remember seeing him in local productions around town.
Yeah. I work at Child's Play, and that's been the buzz right now. Did you know? So I say, oh, that's a very cool thing. There's a couple people. There's there's a few people that have gone on and done like big productions, but he's the most recent. I know. And he's so young. I don't even know. Is he out of high school or?
Oh, I didn't. I'm assuming so. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like so, but yay to him.
I mean, he is really young, but
and apparently very talented.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
although I've noticed as I get older, people keep getting younger and younger.
They all seem so young.
They do indeed. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I was at McDonald's not too long ago, and it was when they were playing the Monopoly pieces, right? And these kids came up to me. I was just sitting there by myself, and I was like, "Oh, what do you need?" And they're like, "Excuse me, sir, are you going to use your Monopoly pieces?" I said, "Sir, sure, you can have them, whatever."
So I'm going to go back because Anita said, "Did we skip question 2?" And
Yeah,
I'm like,
we did.
"Oh, did we?" Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad somebody said something. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now everyone's out of order. So if you had all your just answers written down, we're going back to question 2 because Scumman got a little overzealous with the clicker. All right. So the first report of the Maryvale Cancer Cluster was at what school?
St. Vincent de Paul. Yeah, and actually that was the church we used to go to. And I have to say that answer is a maybe. It might have been reported somewhere else, but that's where all the stories and the information that when looking it up, that's what I read.
Well, and there's been a resurgence of it within the last year of people like starting to look at it again. And I don't think did they ever find kind of what the cause? It was just kind of like they were like, this number is abnormally high, but we don't know.
The sister, or was a nun that she was the principal there, and she reported that her kids for several years came down with leukemia, and she asked the health department to look into it over and over and over again. Finally, she gave up, and they transferred her to another school somewhere in the Midwest, I believe. And then just Googling it is almost hard to find the current story because there's so many stories of people reporting that one of their kids had a cancer, and then later on another kid had cancer.
Right. It was all childhood. It wasn't adult.
Yeah. Cancer, yeah. And apparently there was I think there were companies that were dumping waste, and they ended up in the dirt, ends up in the water. Yeah. So and no one knew about this. I'm sure the companies did, but allegedly, because the health department still, I don't think they've admitted that they found anything yet.
Right. That's what I was. It was like, yeah, they wasn't like, oh, we found this, and so that's been the cause of that. So
yeah. So
weird. Indeed. All right. So Child's Play was founded in 1977 and is headquartered at
Mitchell Park, the former Mitchell School. And it's a cool place. So Child's Play for folks on online that don't know, is a theater company. It's a theater company for young audiences. So that's a adult professional actors performing theater for kids. Um, and our biggest audience is school audiences. So when the company started, the founder um, he would pack up his truck and go to different schools and perform in their cafeterias or wherever. We still do that today, and it's very cool that that's still part of our biggest reach. And it also and we're in a former elementary school that if from the outside it looks exactly like an elementary school. When you look inside, it's a theater
Oh,
company, and there's all kinds of cool theater things. The cafetorium is this big rehearsal space with a big dance floor, which I love. Um, but it also has that old school vibe, like not old school, but like an
old
old
school,
school
not old
vibe,
school,
right? Not
not
old school,
OG vibes, but old
not an
school
OG
vibe.
vibe, but and you build these props and these puppets and all this stuff, and you just don't want to toss them. So we have a lot of that stuff. There's a puppet. His name is Sunny Boy. That's the size of an actual kid. That was a character on stage. Um, that the play is over, so they just would stuff him in a closet or whatever. And I'm like, no, he's an actual ensemble member. We have to bring him out. So I set him in my office, and he just watches. He's the creepiest thing ever. Yeah, and
But you
sometimes
like that.
yeah, but I like that. But a lot of times I'm there by myself, like late, like 9, 10 o'clock, and he moves, and I'm like, okay, it's time to go.
That's after too much Mountain Dew that he moves.
Yeah, after too much amount. But now I'm desensitized. So now when people come and visit me in my office, they're like, what is that? Who's that in your office? Like, oh. I'll never be attacked because he's taking care of me. Yeah.
And then Anita mentioned the Velveteen Rabbit.
Yes, the Velveteen Rabbit. Yeah. That's before my time, but we still talk about it to this day. Yeah.
And I think we're actually going to do the Velveteen Rabbit, I think, for our Christmas show. Just before Christmas, we're going to talk a little bit about some downtown stuff and then have some folks read from the Velveteen Rabbit. So that should be a nice little hello to Christmas and happy holidays.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but because they're coming right up around the corner. You don't think they are, but they're going to be here soon.
Yeah, Child's Play's doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at the Herberger. So look out for that, because it's a really, really fun show. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. So who was the founder of St. Mary's Food Bank?
I had A on my. It's not Alice Cooper. It's John Van Zee. Yeah. Yeah, I used to work at St. Mary's Food Bank, and that was like one of the funnest jobs, talking about his story. Like he was a member of the St. Mary's Parish, the Basilica downtown, and he came up with this idea. Food. He's considered the father of food banking. So the very first food bank in the whole wide world started here in Phoenix, Arizona, and he started it because he noticed that he would go to grocery stores and he would notice that in the dumpsters there was like this good food, right? That was just getting tossed, and the reason it was getting tossed was because us as consumers wouldn't buy it because they had some type of defect, like the bread was squished. If a bread's squished, you're not going to buy it. If there's a dented can, well, you're not going to buy the dented can. You're going to buy the nice can. There's a dozen of eggs. There's one cracked egg. You're not going to buy those dozen of eggs. So they didn't end up in the dumpster. So the way you can help a food bank is if you crack an egg, dent a can, and squish some bread. They would appreciate it. I'm kidding, but I'm kidding.
Not that we're suggesting folks go out and do that.
I'm kidding. You didn't hear me.
But if you do, wear big dark glasses before you do that.
Yeah.
There's video cameras on everything. So
yeah, so he thought of this idea of taking a truck and rescuing that food, right? And that's one of the biggest ways St. Mary's gets food is by that food rescue program. And he went to St. Mary's Basilica, told them the idea. They gave him a little bit of money and that bakery. Oh no, I'm giving away the answers.
Oh no, you're giving away the next question.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. Okay, so let's go on to that one so we can continue the story, because it's a good story.
Yeah. And there's a little bakery there. I don't know if that's right. But
I couldn't find. It's like, this is the earliest building I could find, and it was a
no,
small building.
that definitely is the bakery. But I don't know if that turned into the Andre House, or there's a connection with the Andre House, or one of St. Mary's Food Bank's former buildings is now the Andre House. I think that's the story. But anyways, but that's the original. That's the original bread store there. So I think that first year.
Tell the story about his shoes.
Yeah. So in the warehouse, John did not. He did very well in advertising. He was an advertising guy, but he said he always had this thing where there's a lot of people. I'm very privileged, and there's a lot of people that don't have food, and I can't justify buying new things when I don't need them. And one of the things was shoes. He wouldn't buy new shoes, even though they were worn out. Instead, he would just paint them. And there's a spot inside the warehouse at St. Mary's where there's an outline of his shoes, because he would just get some spray paint and spray paint over them instead of buying new shoes. So it's a cool thing.
Wow. Indeed. Yeah. All right. So the average pints of blood in the human body. 10.
I'm glad you put the answer there, because I forgot how much it was. I think it works out to 2 pints for every 25. Yeah, I forgot how much it was. I think it works out to 2 pints for every 25 pounds, right? Is that what it is?
Oh, I didn't find just like the average body. It didn't really say what average was. So
yeah. Like when I was 19, I think I was 19 years old, I got a job as at United Blood Services. They have a different name now. I forget, but yeah, and they trained me to be a phlebotomist, and I would tell people that all the time. Well, you can afford to donate 1 pint of blood because you have 2 pints for 25 pounds, or so. We have a lot of blood in us, so 1 pint doesn't hurt. I think.
Well, I didn't realize like 1 pint is roughly to like a grande Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, and I believe if you donate a pint that day, you like drop a pound, so it's some incentive there.
Hey, the holidays are coming up.
Yeah, you want to fit into that dress?
Ernesto's new diet plan.
Bleed a little. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. It's like, yeah, just go give some blood and lose some weight.
Yeah. And I think they have like new technology allows you to give more red cells now, where it used to be every 8 weeks, I believe you could give. Because of the way you replenish your cells, but I think it can get more frequent. I think that's the case. I know they use an apheresis technique or apheresis process, which is the same thing like when you go to dialysis, or it takes out what it needs and returns what it doesn't need. Same thing happens. They take out the red cells and they return whatever other stuff with some saline.
Oh wow!
I know I'm simplifying that, and it's more complex, but
no, because I can't give blood, so
yeah, me neither. So I took it.
You can't give, so you're a taker. Yeah. I got your number, Ernesto.
I will be involved somehow.
All right. Maryvale Baseball Park is the spring training home of
Milwaukee Brewers.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's actually like a nice, big, beautiful park. I'm not a baseball guy. I'm not a sports guy, but when I'm there, it's a lot of fun. And it's a tie-in with St. Mary's Food Bank. We used to do food drives there a lot. During spring training, we'd ask for a donation of X amount of cans, and people would get them for free. But it was always a lot of fun collecting food there. A lot of people love that place. It's beautiful.
And then I had a friend who was actually a dietitian for the Brewers.
Oh.
Working with all the young players, because most of them had not been like on their own before, and how to eat healthy, living on your own without really much of. So it was like different ways to monitor what they were eating and different ways to induce and basically get vitamins and protein and make sure they're getting enough protein. So it was really interesting, kind of some of the ways she came up with doing that.
So it's not just a bunch of stouts that they're drinking.
It is not just then they would look like bowlers, not baseball players.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that bowler body.
It's just they'll just look like the Milwaukee Brew.
Exactly. I know. Well, as soon as I saw that answer, I was going, it's like, it reminded me of Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
So
Yes. I love that show.
I did too. I mean, that opening sequence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go. All right. So in the 90s, there was an after hours club that's now called Anvil Bar.
Yeah.
So tell us about the
Incog.
answer incognito.
Yeah, we called it the Incog. When I was, I think it was 19, 20 years old, I wasn't old enough to get into the bars. That was one of the places that had after hours in the city. And that at that time, after hours was 1 a.m. And so we'd wait. We'd wait. There was like a sea of kids that would wait outside to get into the after hours. And it was so much that the police would come around because like, why are all these people like hanging out in the parking lot, right? And Lynn, which coincidentally, the person who owns the place, her and her husband, the lady's name is Lynn. The person who owned it before, her name was Lynn, I believe. But she would come out and she would protect us. She was the greatest. She had these she always had like this. She had like this cute little short haircut, but she had she always wore a blazer and there was these big shoulder pads. And she would come, she would leave them alone. She was the best.
So she was all set for Dynasty with her little
She
bob and her
was,
big
yeah.
shoulder pads.
Yeah, and before it was a ladies' bar, so it was a lesbian bar at the time, and now it's more of a men's bar. But it's very.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize the Incognito was a lesbian bar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so and they had the cool. I think it's still the same dance floor. I don't, or maybe when I was younger, it just felt like it was more. It dazzled me more. It reminded me of the Michael Jackson video, the Billie Jean video, where it would light up when he'd walk on it. That dance floor has like lights on the bottom and it lights up. And I don't know if they still have it in place, but I have to go by there now and I have to look.
Oh, because there was one bar that was known for having kind of like that Saturday Night Fever dance floor.
Yeah, it might be it. There was also
I'm wondering. It's like, and I don't know what everyone did that. So maybe they moved the dance floor.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I have to ask.
Oh, enough to go and find out.
Yeah, and there's like benches outside that are part of it's like that place collected a bunch of stuff from older bars that had shut down. Like there's benches outside from other bars that have closed down. I think there's some stuff from Harley's in there, and so it's just like they packed it in there. Yeah. So
well, because Bunkhouse does that. I mean, they've got all kinds of old.
Oh my God, Bunkhouse has the coolest stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Pat was amazing at just collecting and preserving that history.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Indeed. So I always like to ask people how they did.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it's like, and so it's kind of fun just to kind of see, I mean, typically people get like 3 out of 10. So it's always kind of fun to see how well people do or how bad they do. But I always tell people, regardless, we're all still winners because now look at the stories we have. I mean, now we got a chance to talk about all the Marys.
All the Marys. Yes. There's so many jokes there.
Indeed. But this is a family show. We won't go down that path.
Yes.
So, well, Ernesto, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your slice of Arizona. Wow, Anita got 7 out of 10. That's great.
Yeah, Anita's a star. Look at that.
She is. Wow. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your slice of Arizona. I mean, from child's play and I mean, the whole St. Mary's Food Bank. I mean, that's just a fascinating story, especially as we get ready for the holidays.
Yeah.
People donating things to them. I know they'll do like a turkey drive where people can bring a frozen turkey
drive. And if you can't for any nonprofit, especially a food banks, whether it's St. Mary's Food Bank or your local food bank, wherever you are, they can do a lot with $1. They buy in bulk, semis worth of food. So if you can't donate food or volunteer, $1, they'll take it and they'll appreciate it. They love it. Yeah, it does a lot. At
Exactly.
St. Mary's, I think they said they can turn $1 into 7 meals. So
Oh
it's
my
great.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could do that.
I know. I'm like, they should have cooking classes. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
I'm
think
going to
they
know how to
do.
make $1 go into 7 meals.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, Ernesto, thank you so much,
I don't know. Thank you for having me.
and have a great rest of your night.
Yes, thank you very much. Hey, can I plug my website?
Oh, of course, please do.
So yeah, so there's a lot. I do stand up around the valley. There's a lot of very important shows coming up. A lot of them are fundraisers, and specifically for some upcoming productions. But if you all that information is on ErnieOrtiz.com. ErnieOrtiz.com. Buy a sticker while you're there, because gas
I
is.
didn't know you had. Why don't I have a sticker?
Oh, you can have one.
Okay, I'll give you one of my stickers. There we go. We'll trade. We'll have a sticker.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. This is a lot of fun.
thank you. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So, and you're right, if everybody gave $1, they would be so happy and be able to do so much more. So, all right. So while we've all been sitting here watching, doing happy hour down in Chandler, they have been having a little parade right downtown at AJ Chandler Park, because tonight is, and I don't know what time they're actually going to do the lighting, but they have lit, or will be lighting very soon, their tumbleweed Christmas tree that they have been doing since the late 50s. And what I think is really interesting is it's got almost 1,000 tumbleweeds in it. It's 35 feet tall, 20 feet wide, and it has 800 pounds of glitter. I'm sorry, 80 pounds of glitter. It was like, oh, that's a lot. It's like 80 pounds of glitter. I was like, so 80 pounds of glitter, 45 gallons of white paint, and of course, 35 gallons of fire retardant to cover the tree in. Because they said one year it was popular for teenagers or some folks, we don't know who, we'll just leave a nameless group, would go in and smoke cigarettes under the tree because nobody could see them. And one year the tree caught on fire, so now it has to be covered in so much flame retardant material. As well as it's got over 1,200 LED lights coating all those tumbleweeds. And it's been featured nationally on on travel shows and even on Saturday Night Live. So you can go out and explore and go see this year's tumbleweed Christmas tree, because every year is a whole different tree with new tumbleweeds. They don't save them. So, so I want to say thank you all so much. And you'll see, this is why you should share. If you're enjoying it, click on share, because that's what we do. We have a lot of fun with Arizona history. And so next week, we are making it down to Bisbee with Jason Markowiak, who is runs the library down there. And so that's going to be a lot of fun as we hear from him about Bisbee. So that will be Thursday night at 7:00. And I always, you can always reach out to me on various formats, because I love to hear from you. That's where I get my best stuff. Now, I always want to give a shout out to Chris and Cole, as well as PJ, for all their efforts. And as we say goodnight, I'm going to show a clip, a movie that was discovered actually about 20 years ago, that is Buster Keaton basically repping or advertising John F. Long Holmes. It's about a 20-minute long movie. I will post the link on Facebook, because I'm not going to sit here and make people watch a 20-minute movie, but you can watch it on Facebook, and that is going to be on Marshall Shore Hip Historian. I know, I can find out. Maybe I can put a link onto Instagram as well to see if we can share it that way. I don't know. That'll be a question for my intern. All right. So let's see. Let's have some Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton in The Homeowner? Now there's a title for you. I really think they should have mentioned my name, too. I mean, after all, I am in the picture. You see, I am what is called a home consultant, and I'm employed at John F. Long's International Home Show. So naturally, I know a great deal about his homes. For example, were you aware of the fact that over 11,000 happy families already live in John F. Long homes in Maryvale? Well, they do. Beneath this sign pass some of America's most particular home buyers, men and women who recognize quality and value. Beneath this sign, we meet an ordinary man, much like you and me. A man who takes good care of all his possessions.